living room.
Mommy, your head.
I'm sorry.
Ate.
And I am currently serving as chair of the department. We are thrilled that you are here with us, and it's truly a time to celebrate these students and the culmination of their hard work. In addition to serving as chair, I also have the privilege and pleasure of teaching orthopedics to this fine group of students in front of you. Since the COVID pandemic, where we all had to teach with masks and shields and gloves and gowns, and we had to teach remotely, this group had such a joy for learning that it reminded me, and I think all of us, how much we love teaching. So they really have been a real pleasure to have. I'm joined today by our DPT faculty over here on to the left of me. And they have shared their knowledge, clinical experience, and love of physical therapists with these graduates over the past 3 years. And that includes these core faculty that you see before you, but also members here today. Rebecca Ravaki, if you'd like to stand up. I'd also like to thank our staff who keeps things running behind the scenes. Volka, where are you at? We would not be a department, and that is absolutely the truth. If you haven't already noticed, all of you in the audience, there are a few perks to having a physical therapist in your family. So if a graduate has, worked on your neck, or worked on your back, or helped get that kink out of your shoulder, or perhaps allowed you to taught you how to move a little bit better, you're welcome. Getting your doctorate degree is really a tough journey. To graduate from this program, you have to be smart, no doubt about that. But you also have to have a strong work ethic and perseverance. And there's really no recipe to making someone diligent and have that grit. These people learn that from example. So when I look around this room, I know there are a lot of hardworking people out here who led by example. You supported these students financially, physically, and emotionally. So today is truly a congratulations to them, but also a congratulations to you all. I want to point out some of the most noteworthy things this group has accomplished. A few weeks ago, they all passed their comprehensive examination. Everything they have learned in 3 years, if you can imagine that. So that's a huge congrats. Many of them are the first in their family to go to college. Most of them are the first in their family to get a doctorate degree. Many of them overcame great personal obstacles to get into our program. We accept 32 students, and we have about 800 to 1,000 applicants every year. Many of them dealt with personal challenges while in the program. They lost loved ones. They dealt with illness and injury. By themselves, they ran a pro bono clinic for the underserved and homeless individuals in the Los Angeles County, and were very involved in a lot of community activities. And they did all of this and much more while maintaining academic excellence, very high GPAs. Pretty impressive, right? A doctorate in physical therapy. Wow, right? We are one of only 3 doctorate programs at Cal State University, CSUN, and Cal State University Northridge. And our former department chair, Cheryl Lowe, was industrial in getting legislation passed at Sacramento to allow the CSUs to offer a doctorate. We couldn't even have a doctorate degree before then. So this doctorate is truly special in many ways. And what is so wonderful about our profession is that as a doctor of physical therapy, we get to help a lot of people and make a difference in their lives. And if you ask people, they will tell you that one of the most important things they value in their life is their health, especially as we get older. And as a physical therapist, when someone has an injury or someone is in pain, their normal life is disrupted, and that can really have a negative impact on their quality of life. As a physical therapist, we have the ability to restore their normalcy. We get to help give them a better quality of life. We get to help people restore their physical health and their mental well-being, and that's a pretty incredible gift. So I hope you all recognize what a gift you have. You have the gift of healing. So congratulations to all of you. Saying we are proud just really doesn't say enough, but we are so incredibly proud. We hope you will stay in touch. We hope you will give back by maybe being a CI for a student someday. We hope you will give back, maybe coming back and teaching with us in our labs. But really, what will make us the most proud is seeing you thrive in your professions and in your life. So congratulations, Class 67.
probably need a team of physical therapists to help to recover from that. So I appreciate not having to run across campus today. Congratulations, first of all, to our students. When you have a pool of 800 to 1,000 applicants, and you have to narrow that pool down to 32, imagine how elite you are as students to be a part of that 32. And to not just start out as a part of the 32, but to finish and to be a new doctor of physical therapy. So congratulations. I reiterate Dr. Kachingwe's thanks to family and friends. Some of us think we're islands and we can do things on our own. And the truth is, most of us do not succeed unless there are people around us who help us to be successful. Sometimes it's the simplest thing. So I'm fortunate today to have a cousin visiting with me, and she's sitting in the back. And there are simple things like somebody making sure you have some food to eat, somebody making sure you have clothing to wear, somebody making sure you are up and around at 6:30 in the morning so you can make it to commencement at 8 o'clock. Those guys, and some people behind me are laughing because they know I have to set like 4 or 5 alarms because I'm not a morning person. So to have a human alarm that you hear walking around, there are things we take for granted, but we know that as students, those kinds of things that may seem very small are really, really important in helping us to be successful. So thank you, friends and parents and guardians and spouses and children, for the support that you have given to our students to help them to be successful. And for the support that you will need to continue to give them when they're practicing physical therapists and they come home with whatever complaints they come home with, or they come home and they also need a massage because they've spent the entire day helping somebody to be better. So thank you for all you've done and all you're going to do in the future. May is a time for celebration. It is, for me, the best part of the academic year because it is when we get to celebrate our students. And we do that in a number of different ways. So we started out probably in April having scholarship lunches and so on for students who have been awarding scholarships. We had the Dean's Award ceremony a few weeks ago. And so we've continued for the last few weeks celebrating our students and their accomplishments. And to be successful as a student may mean a number of different things. It may mean that you graduate with a high GPA. It may mean that you get some other type of honors recognition and you get to participate in our honors ceremony. It may mean that you are the first student in your family to get tertiary level education, to get a bachelor's degree, to get a master's degree, to get a doctorate. The folks who graduate with doctorates, they're even more elite than the ones who get bachelor's degrees and the ones who get masters. They're probably less than 1% of the US population with a doctorate. So to be where these students are is something to celebrate, and we get to do that. You see, as we're walking across the stage, the hugs and the fist bumps and so on. And it is when we get to see the realization of the hard work that has gone into completing a degree. And so it's a time for me to celebrate. So graduates, I want you to celebrate for as long as you can and for as hard as you can, because this is probably the easier part of your life. And when you go into the field and you're actively working, you're going to need to look back on this celebration and remember when you had some time, and I know you don't have a lot of time, but when you had some time to actually do good things. And so I want you to think of a few things, and I kind of made this up about an hour ago, and I shared it with some folks some students at the last event we just ran from, but I think it's important enough to share it with you. I want you to think about a couple of things, graduates, and certainly you in the audience can think about those things too. Think about how 2025 started with wildfires, and for a time it didn't look like many of us were going to survive the wildfires with our lives as we know it intact, but here we are. We changed governments, and every day we're dealing with a whole new other set of things, and we don't know what to expect, but we're dealing with it because we have to survive. So I want you to think about resilience and what it means to wake up every day and not know what that day is going to be like or what the next day will be like, but knowing that you have to press on, because there's somebody depending on you. Whether you know who that person is or not, there's somebody who is depending on you. So think about resilience and what you have to do to make it through, and what our students have had to do to make it through, to be on the other side, despite everything that was going on around them. I want you to think about determination, the drive to get to where you need to go, to be successful, to be the person your family can count on, to live the dreams that you didn't always know you had, or you didn't always know were possible, but you got the opportunity and you took advantage of it, and you were determined to get to the other side of that, to realize the dream, to be successful, and to help other people. So that determination is also critical. Sometimes in moments when we're working hard and we are focused and we have all of the resolve and we're determined, we need the best GPA, and certainly I want my physical therapist to have a high GPA. I want to be confident that you actually learned and you have the knowledge and you can fix whatever problem I have. But sometimes in our determination and in the drive to be successful, we forget that tomorrow isn't promised to us. So I want you to think about joy and how every day you should have some moment of joy, not just happiness, but joy. The thing that you think about and it's beyond your wildest dreams, even if it's just for a minute of the day. Because joy is important. It is not just the work that we do. It is the meaning that we make out of the lives that we have and the opportunities that are presented to us. And you are in a profession where certainly you give service. And as doctors of physical therapy, I hope you will be paid very well for that service. But I also want you to give the service that you're not going to be paid for. And I know in this doctoral program you had opportunities to do that, and you took advantage of them. Not every person who needs physical therapy or some kind of therapy will have the financial means to do so. So there are always going to be opportunities where you can give service, pro bono service, to somebody who needs that. It may be one person a year, maybe 10 people a year. But as we do better for ourselves and as we move forward, we always have to take responsibility for other people as well. So I want you to think about that service and how the service that you do and the work that you do and the commitment that you have really improves the communities around us. And so to take that service seriously and the opportunities to have a positive impact on your community seriously, and to do that type of work as well. Education is a blessing. It is an opportunity. It is a privilege. And education, as you go up that ladder from a baccalaureate degree to a master's degree to a doctor of physical therapy, I think as people with doctorates, we have even more responsibility. To get a doctorate means you have become an expert at something. You know more about that thing than the person who has a master's potentially, than the person who has a baccalaureate degree, than people who have neither of those degrees in your field. And so because your knowledge is greater, your research skills may be better, your practical and application skills may be better, to me that comes with a responsibility to do good and to improve the lives and the livelihoods of people around you. Education changes and transforms individuals, families, and communities. And so my charge to you is to use the education you have gained wisely, to help others to do good, most of all to do good, to reach back, to help those who are coming behind you. I'm going to make a plug for our alumni associations, to join our alumni association, it's free, to show up, to help the students who are coming after you, to give back to your department who gave so much to you, and to keep giving to the community around you. Congratulations once again.
Good morning. My legal name is Wittia Metiakong, but if you call me Dan, I'll answer to you as well. So my responsibility with this group is basically I taught them about evidence-based practice and movement system impairment. So if they start talking to you nonsense about statistics and they tell you how if you move funny, that's my fault.
Good morning. My name is Beth Phillips, and I had the pleasure of working with these people 6 hours a week, knee-deep in the dissection lab from the very beginning. And then in the end, I had the opportunity to talk to them about the not-so-concrete world and the wellness and sustainability aspects of the program. And you guys know I'm going to say it, take care of yourselves, get good sleep, eat well. You can't help others if you don't take care of yourself first. And make good lifestyle choices, not just for your own body, but for the planet.
Hello, I'm Myra Stewart, and I am the Director of Clinical Education. So along with teaching orthotics and prosthetics, I also help transition our students from the academic setting into the clinical setting. And I'd like to say a few words. So every graduation, I always think back and take a few minutes to reflect on our class. And for this class, what really has defined this cohort for me is leadership and advocacy at every level. This cohort has defined this at the department level, the community, and the professional level. They have been a driving force of positive influence on their fellow peers, and they have brought a collaborative spirit through encouraging, motivating, and mentoring the cohorts below them. I want to thank you so much for your positivity. And I encourage you to continue to grow in your leadership and advocacy of the profession as it is so desperately needed. I see so many of our profession's leadership sitting here before me today. And so I can't wait to see what each and every one of you accomplish in the future. Best of luck to you now, in your clinicals, I'll be seeing you soon, and in your future careers.
That is very hard. So let's see. What can I do here? So it's a privilege for me to be here today. My name is Dr. Ferreira. I am a professor I was on sabbatical during their time, so I had the privilege to teach them pediatric physical therapy. And usually I do teach the background knowledge in physical therapy, and it is the scientific background that provides us the basis of why we do what we do. There's one important thing that deeply connects the background knowledge in pediatric physical therapy. That is the power of giving. And here it comes back to you, and I'm not going to put this on there. So, graduates, as we move forward, as you move forward, remember, in physical therapy, giving is not a transaction, it's a transformation. When you kneel beside a child, learning to stand or guide an elderly to the first steps after stroke, you are giving more than care. You are giving belief, dignity, and the restoration of movement, which in so many ways, the restoration of independence and hope. There will be days that will test you, but the joy you will find in a child. Laughter after the first steps, or a patient tears when they can finally lift their grandkids in their arms. That is the kind of reward few professions are privileged to lead and to share and to know. So go forward with skill, but with heart, and with a deep understanding that your giving is your strength. You are not just helpers or healers. You are givers of movement, confidence, and new possibilities for people's lives. So congratulations, Dr. Physical Therapy. We are thrilled to have you and can't wait to see what you will give next to this world.
Dr. Bartlett, or Dr. B as they would call me, and I want to thank the family, and I want to thank the friends that are here today. I had the pleasure of teaching your family and friends cardiopulmonary, anatomy, and geriatrics. I want to thank them personally for a great semester. It reminded me why I love to teach. I had the chance to see them work with individuals in the community, and it really showed me that they are present when they are working with them. When I was looking at them and actually as working with patients or clients and older adults and athletes, I could tell that they love what they do, and it reminded me that why I love to teach. So I want to thank them for a great semester.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Kara Eberhard. I had the distinct privilege of beginning my journey in academia with your friends, family, and loved ones. I started with this group when my daughter was 5 weeks old, and they have grown along with her. And I tell them all the time, I use them as a, oh my gosh, my daughter's gonna be 3, that means you're almost done. And seeing the growth in these individuals has been such a privilege. So remember, don't be ordinary, be extraordinary. I'm crying. And there's too many feelings, but I'm so proud and I'm so honored and just so pleased to have you all as colleagues.
I think I get to talk about this because I'm only one who ever. So that might I think I answered. Anyhow, graduates, this will be my last talk to you about evidence-based practice. Okay, so this is totally evidence-based practice. So anyhow, once again, welcome to our class 67 DPT closing ceremony. Okay, so let's set the stage. So if you think about in 12th centuries, all the higher education started in churches. So at that time, scholars or people who are in the education very much, they are clergies or they are monks. So the robe and the gowns that they wear is normally they are normal attire. So now move forward to all 12th and 13th centuries. In Europe, they start wearing all these robe and gown because the world still cold. We still have to keep the body warm. Okay? And in the past, the hood that you wear right now was attached to the gown. Okay? So now as fashion changed and the cap become more common, so the gown now become detached from the hood. We detach the hood from the gown and then use the cap instead. But we still use the hood as the ordinary, as a decoration. Okay, and why use it as decoration? Because if you look at Cambridge or Oxford, you get to see that they use this red velvet color to identify their school. So your hood will actually represent your school and your education. Okay, so I'm gonna have Dr. Carlos stand up to demonstrate your proper gown. So for doctorate degree, you get to see a few things that really distinct from other degrees. So you get to see that the first part is, if you look at the gown, it's a full bell bottom sleeve. Okay, so it's full. And then on each arm, you're gonna have 3 velvet bands. Okay, on top of it, you're gonna have 2 vertical velvet color. That's basically the characteristic of the doctoral degree. Only person that you're gonna see today that wear 4 bands on each arm is the president. Okay, so you are the highest degree today. Okay, so let's talk about the tan. Don't say that yet. So we wear this funny bonnet or tan, and that's again depending on the school. Some school may use the 4 mortarboard. Some school may use 6. I don't know. But you guys have the direction. Okay, so that's we call the puffy 10. Okay. Now the last one that we need to talk about is the hood. That's the thing that we are talking about. Is basically if you show up the hood, you get to see that normally for doctorate degree it's about 4 feet long. The longest physical therapy would be the teal blue. Some school may use green, as it's closer to medicine. Okay. Now, having said that, the reason we are here today is because of the hooding ceremony. The hooding is a representation of the highest degree that you ever received. Okay, so let's celebrate the graduates.
Danae Bourne. Casey Fur. Nicole San Diego Cosico. Vanessa Nguyen Deep. Senwal Dilshad. Michael Hall. Spencer Issa. Diana Martinez Antonio. Daniel Scott Morgan. Dimitri Piagai. Sabrina Shabande. And Michelle Wong.
Good morning, classmates, families, and faculty. I have the great privilege of spending the last 3 years here in community alongside you, learning to be a physical therapist. We all arrived here for different reasons, with different backgrounds and experiences, but we've been united by a desire to heal and to help. And as our time as PT students draws to a close, I've been thinking a lot about what it means to be a healer. I was in my late 20s when I decided to return to school to become a PT. Like all of us, I worked hard at my prerequisite classes and was thrilled to be accepted to PT school. But before I was able to begin, I was diagnosed with a rare and aggressive form of breast cancer. But instead of starting school and learning how to heal others, I became the patient. I spent a year navigating the medical system and attending never-ending doctor appointments and treatments. Some of the clinicians I met were absolute angels, and I will remember them forever as the people who held my hand through the scariest chapter of my life and gave me hope for the future. Other people made me feel like my very real fears and questions were a nuisance, like I was an insignificant item on their to-do list that they had to check off before going home. And I left those encounters feeling utterly hopeless. I'm sharing this with you now because it's the most personal example I have of the power of empathy in medicine and the power that we can have over our patients' experiences and their trust in people who carry the title of healer. For the last 3 years, we have spent almost every day together, learning everything there is to know about our bodies and what we can do to improve how they function. We learned to accurately interpret the results of research papers so that we can make informed decisions when choosing treatment options for our patients. We spent hours in the cadaver lab attempting to identify pin structures that at first glance all looked like the same pale brown deli meat. We memorized a truly unfathomable amount of information, often resorting to making absurd mnemonics, the best of which I cannot repeat in front of our distinguished faculty. And as a former dancer, I resorted to making interpretive choreography as a memory tool, some of which does unfortunately exist on video. But everything we were taught about the human body is crucial to our ability to become competent physical therapists. But it's not what will make us great healers. The more subtle lesson was that of empathy, which is harder to teach in a regular curriculum. To wield empathy effectively, it must be practiced in every aspect of our lives. It's something that we all have the capacity to experience, and yet competitive environments can drive us to push it down. Empathy is integral to connecting with others, and yet having too much of it can lead you down a path towards burnout. PT school gave us more opportunities to practice empathy than we perhaps realized. We all had moments when we were convinced we didn't have what it took to succeed, when we would isolate ourselves and spend desperate hours studying. But I hope there were moments when you were able to stop and acknowledge that your brain was tired, that you were working really hard and you deserved a break. That was practicing empathy for yourself. If you saw or heard one of your classmates questioning their ability to juggle the demands of school with their responsibilities at home and offered them assistance to help lighten their load, you were practicing empathy for your friends. When you went beyond asking your patients to just tell you their symptoms, but listened to how they were preventing them from playing with their grandchildren, that was also practicing empathy. And when you saw the excitement in their eyes, when you shared your plan for getting them back to the things they loved, that was when you were a healer. We are about to leave school and step into an increasingly uncertain and often hostile world where science and medicine are being attacked and undermined. Facts seem to matter far less these days than beliefs or opinions. People in power have learned that it is much easier to control people by convincing them to be afraid of what they don't understand. Therefore, practicing empathy and arming people with knowledge is more than just an act of kindness or professional courtesy. It is an act of resistance. When faced with this kind of adversity, it can feel easier and safer to hunker down and keep to yourself. But as future physical therapists, I hope we embrace our titles of healers and helpers and apply it broadly. I hope that we use what we learned here at school to connect, support, and help not only our patients, but our future coworkers, our families, and each other. I hope that we inspire those who meet us to return to their communities and form connections with people there, igniting a chain of kindness and service and healing, until one day it becomes easier to look for the helpers, because there are more of us than there are people causing harm. So let us go forward as healers. Let us lean on each other when times get hard. Let us be kind so that our entire community can learn of our kindness and pass it on. It has been the honor of my lifetime to be on this journey with you, and I'm incredibly proud of all of us.
We will invite each of the students forward and present them with their hood that they have worked so hard for and so deserve.
Let's go!
Catherine Cruz. Nicole Cosico. Catherine Cruz.